consensus. It's a terrible word. It means you don't know what to do. So you get a consensus, and so then there's no revolution. But it's not a way to move forward fast. Most people don't want to move. So a consensus is, we had at Harvard, one good appointment with a bad appointment, to keep everyone happy. So if you, now it didn't mean that I ever made decisions at Coastal and Harvard that other people didn't agree to. I talked to people, but we never had votes. So, I hired Rich Roberts, who got a Nobel Prize. I went up to Boston, met him. I mean, he was working a postdoc there, but and knew he had sequenced some DNA, and I just offered him a job. There was no search committee, there was nothing. Now, there were some other people. All I'm saying is that I didn't want to run it like an academic institution because I really wanted to turn Cold Spring Harbor into an institution which essentially found out what cancer was at the genetic level. So I had a very focused ambition. I didn't want to hire bright people. I only wanted to hire people who wanted to understand cancer, and then I hoped they would be bright. So it was more important that they were interested in cancer than they were bright. A big failure of institutions, they just hire bright people who do the wrong thing. So just hiring someone because they're bright, that could be a real, because most bright people, they're bright in some way, but they're so impractical. They're bright failures. Highly intelligent failures. Okay, you've got to avoid these sort of people. You want people who sort of sense what is important and want to solve it. Now, at that time, the cancer was, because viruses could be caused by, viruses could cause cancer, and it was, it's because they carry genes. I won't go into that. So anyways, it made a lot of sense, and about 4 or 5 places in the world started doing that, and many of the really bright people came as postdocs because the time had arrived to do it. It was, we could do it. Okay. And then the other is, manage your scientist like a baseball team. That is, if someone's not hitting, get rid of them. Or, promote those who doing it. Now, I don't mean firing them. If you've hired someone for 5 years or 3 years or whatever, you give them a chance, you support them. So I never didn't support people. But on the other hand, you got to reward the winners. You shouldn't try and treat everyone the same. Your resources have to go toward the winners, not the people who aren't doing anything. Okay. So, treating everyone the same when people aren't the same is again just a sign that you don't know what you're doing. You don't have any idea. So you have all these rules about treating everyone the same salary for all that. Okay. Doesn't make any sense if you want to win. Okay. Oh, did I? Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I've done something wrong here. There we go on high. Okay, so this was, that's what I looked like when I went to Cold Spring Harbor. That's Phil Sharp, who we hired as a postdoc he'd been a postdoc at Caltech, and he came in 1972. He stayed only 3 years. Then he got a very good job offer from MIT, still there. and very bright guy. So it was easy to get good people because this was a good time to try and understand cancer, and that's the famous Fritz Lippmann. This was at a Cold Spring Harbor Symposium, the great biochemist. And, I've done, okay. 5, just the rules. Don't make mid-season trades. That means, give someone a chance. And I found that generally, it takes about 3 years for someone to do something. You hire them, they get a lab going, and if they're very good, they've done something in 3 years. Seldom is it 5. Because 5 is a long time. And then another thing was, I always ask for advice, but never ask for advice from people that you don't respect. Only accept advice. So if you ask someone and say, who should I hire? And he says he's very good, hire him. But there are some people I realize, I never, we had a very famous geneticist, Barbara McClintock. She changed genetics. But by the time I got there, every one of her ideas was wrong. So I never asked her advice. So I think she knew that I wasn't listening to her. But, just being polite and then saying you just get into trouble by asking for advice which you don't take. People will be mad at you. Even more mad than if you don't ask their advice at all. Better not to ask for advice. And so I have lots of friends. I know a lot of people. And generally when they said to hire one, I just hired them. Because you can't know it. So, no one writes letters of recommendation. We didn't have any of that. It was all very personal. But of course, the field was pretty small then. And another important thing is when someone gives a bad seminar, immediately tell them it's a bad seminar. Probably interrupt the seminar and say it's awful, rather than let them finish a bad seminar. So, you're there to help people, and you don't help them if you witness them, going in the wrong direction, you might as well say it. But another thing I learned is, of course, sometimes you're wrong. I criticize someone that's unfair. I realize the next day it's very unfair. So you should apologize very fast. You lose nothing by apology. Some people never apologize. Boy, I hate them. Because they should apologize. So, when you realize that people, we're all human, we all make mistakes, and when you make a mistake and, are unfair to someone, as soon as possible, say you've been unfair to them. Then you just go on.